morning, dear learners. Today we will study the story The Last Leaf. The Last Leaf is a very famous American story penned by O. Henry. O. Henry is the pseudonym, is a pen name of the very famous writer William Sidney Porter of American history of literature. In American literature, we find Ernest Hemingway also, the Nobel Prize winner novelist, Walt Whitman, the poet, who composed the poem O Captain, My Captain, highlighting Abraham Lincoln. This is the way that we find here in this story, that there are two friends, Sue and John-C, and both friends are artists. They share the flat in an old story house. It was. Suddenly what happened? There happens a tragedy, and one of the friends, John-C, fell ill, and very seriously ill. It was the month of November, and she suffered from pneumonia. When she was suffering from pneumonia, she called the doctor to visit, and when doctor came, doctor asked a general question to Sue, that is there any problem with John-C? Is something the matter that John-C is worried about? She said no, there is no matter at all. So doctor answered that medicines will not work. If John-C is not going to make up her mind that she can be okay, she can be alright. And it happens in the story that medicines were not useful for John-C because she had made up her mind that she was going to die. This was the problem with this girl. She tried her best to treat John-C, to divert her attention towards this death-like condition. She talked about fashion, she talked about clothes, she talked about paintings, that she might divert her attention, but nothing worked. Suddenly, she listened a voice, a feeble voice, and whose feeble voice it was? None other than John-C's voice it was. John-C was counting 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, and what it was she was observing something out of the window, and she was counting, and she was actually counting the leaves of an ivy creeper, that the leaves which were left on this ivy creeper, and there was strong wind because it was the autumn season and strong wind was blowing, and that's why leaves were set off. Now she told that there is nothing to be worried. Why are you counting the leaves? She could not give any answer. She said only one thing, that when the last leaf falls, I will die. This was the answer given by John-C. It disturbed Sue a lot as she started thinking that when this last leaf will fall, my dear friend, my close friend will die. She thinks like this, but it is not going to happen. She determined herself. She was totally determined, and after that, what she asked John-C, that please you give me one promise that I'm going to finish my painting. So do not, okay, see, do not, do not ask me to draw the curtain till I finish my painting. So after that, when John C. slept at that time, Stu went to Behrman. Behrman was a 60-year-old painter. He was a very thought-provoking personality. And he imagined that as a painter, he could paint a masterpiece. Till now, he had not painted that masterpiece. He was waiting for the time that one day will come that he would be able to paint his masterpiece. So, Stu went to Behrman and explained each and everything to him. Behrman said that John C. has made up her mind. That's why she was not going to be okay. It's all rubbish that she is thinking that she is not going to be okay. She will be okay. There will not be any kind of problem. Don't worry. And she also told Behrman about the last leaf that was on the paper, ivy paper. After that, both entered. Behrman and Sue tiptoed to the room as tiptoed. The word has been used in the story. And they moved to the room. They found that John C. was sleeping totally. And silently they moved towards the room. After when Behrman noticed the condition of John C. and he noticed that last leaf that was left on the ivy paper, he did not say any word. He went back to his own room at the ground floor. And after that, next morning, what happened? John C. woke up and John C. requested to Sue that please draw the curtain. But as a close friend, Sue was not interested. She was unwilling to just draw the curtain. But anyhow, she just dared to do that. After she drew the curtain, she found that, and she became very happy. She found that one leaf, that last leaf, was still on the paper. And it was the strong wind blowing in the night. How was it possible that this last leaf was still present on the ivy paper? This was the most wonderful thing that they could imagine. And John C. was also surprised. She complained to Sue that I had noticed the time of the night I listened, the strong waves, the strong sound of wind, and after that also, how is it possible that the last leaf did not fall? After that, what happened? When she commented like this, she said that, okay, today itself, when this last leaf will fall, I will die. So she told John C. that what nonsense you are talking about, as there is no sense as it is the season of autumn going on. And leaves are being set. There is no problem like that as you are thinking about. And it's a process of the season as it is going on. But John C. continued her process of looking at the window, outside of the window, at each and every hour. She noticed that with the passing hours, nothing happened to the last leaf, and it seemed that it was totally clinging to the paper. It was not going to be moved by any kind of strong wind. And John C. also became very surprised. After that, John C. realized her mistake, that how irresponsible I am, that I have made my friend's life like this. And due to my condition, due to my such thinking, my friend's condition has become very miserable. She was very sorry for her behavior, and she revealed this thing to her close friend John C. and to Sue. And after that, when John C. realized it, she just started recovering herself, and she was going to be recovered as doctor informed. When doctor visited, doctor informed Sue that John C is now okay and will be far better in the future because John C has made up her mind, and John C has just started thinking that she can live a life very well, and now she can not die. She has made up her mind. That's why everything is okay. Earlier, she was determined that she was going to die. That's why any medicine was not going to work for her. But he also gave a very bad news about Behrman, that the person, the 60-year-old painter, who lived at the ground floor, and that his condition was critical, very critical. Next morning, what happened? When Sue came to Johnsey, she informed that now Behrman is no more. She was ill for she had that Behrman had been ill for 2 days only, and he was also suffering from pneumonia, but he could not survive and he died. And the matter of surprise revealed by Sue to Johnsey was that whole the night when Johnsey slept, Behrman kept preparing, kept painting his masterpiece, that last leaf, which seemed to cling to that creeper. It means that leaf which was the last leaf, that was not the real leaf. That leaf was fallen down, and that leaf was not there. The Behrman at the time of the night, he went there, and from the room he just brought paint, colors, brush, and then ladder, and then he used all these things while painting the masterpiece. And this masterpiece, this last leaf, saved the life of the close friend of Sue Johnsey. And this is the end of the story. That it's a very inspiring story, that life becomes meaningful when we help each other, when we are able to save others' life, when we are able to save other human beings. It is the moral lesson given in the story, and it also gives the moral lesson that friend in need is a friend indeed, and Behrman has proved that he was one of the best human beings of the world. And the last week, penned by O. Henry, no doubt is creating a lot of interest for us, and has given a moral lesson in the story that if you are a human being and if you want to make yourself great in the eyes of others, so you need to sacrifice a lot of things. As Behrman had painted the last leaf whole the night, and that was his masterpiece. As he waited for his masterpiece, and don't forget that he was 60 years old, but at the time of death, he painted his masterpiece, and it was a stormy night, and whole the night he just shivered, he suffered from cold, and that's why he had the pneumonia and he died in the story. Thanks a lot for listening. Thank you.